Here we are at the Wells Sherman House in Kent, Ohio, again, 247 North Water Street. This is a Greek Revival structure which was moved out of the way of Kent State University's expansion and moved to this address, and a nonprofit was formed for the preservation and rehabilitation of this building. We found a lot which was purchased with borrowed money, and we moved the house in September of 2013. It's now October of 2014. This is the neighborhood we're in. It's an industrial neighborhood and commercial, an old neighborhood in Kent, Ohio, which has really not yet seen any significant redevelopment. Our project has sort of kicked some things off and making people think about the future. This is the iconic former Williams Brother Mill, flour mill, which is now Star of the West, and that mill is moving to Willard, Ohio. So all of these properties along here, which they own most of, will be available in the very near future. So we're concerned about starting a conversation with our project sort of being the linchpin of that, the spearhead if you like, as to what will be done with this neighborhood. What can we do with this very beautiful old 10-story high steel reinforced concrete mill with the older mill part behind it, which dates from the 1870s. This is Scribble's Coffee Shop, our neighbor, and I'd like to show you today the front of the building. We have to put steps in front of it, and we have a lot of difficulty finding a contractor to do that. We have to have railings around it, and this is an ADA wheelchair ramp that goes up the side of the building, and we have to have railings along that. It's turned out to be a very expensive proposition, and the building cycle is intense, so it's hard to get contractors to even give you a price for this stuff. And it's a little bit hard to understand, but we've certainly been surprised by that outcome so far. But we're working on it. Just another challenge we have to deal with. The building next door to us was formerly a waiting room on the Northern Ohio traction line, which probably closed around 1930. And it's been a pawn shop, a barber shop and a shoe repair place when I was a kid. Matter of fact, across the street where that big hole is was the former Cove Bar. That was a 3-story bowling alley when I was a young man. And then it became a very famous bar. It burned in 1975. And the music scene in Kent hasn't quite been the same since. That is the former John Brown Hotel, which was also turned into a bar. It was a giant Greek Revival frame building, which has been completely rebuilt, so it really has nothing left of it, but that was originally a 3-story giant frame building. I was in that when I was a kid with my mother buying antiques, and it was called Larry's Trading Post at that time. Anyway, back to this structure, 257 North Water. This has just been purchased and is going to be completely reconstructed. I think the people who bought it took a look at what we'd done, and they think they can do the same thing to this. It's really in bad condition, I mean beyond bad actually, but they've made the commitment and they're going to do it. We have yet to install in our building split stone veneer, which will make the front of the building have a barnstone type of foundation. That's in our plan, but it's not in our budget. So once again, this is why we have to do fundraising and increase our loan from the bank to finance these things, but the fundraising is really key. I think you saw Rick Hawksley in my last video doing this little runoff prevention bed, and he did a very nice job taking some stone that we saved from the site. Once again, part of our goal is to historic preservation is to make use of things that already exist. And we found this stone on the lot, we saved it, we brought it back, and we're using it in many different ways. To give you another quick example of that, let's walk up here quickly. We found some stone around the corner, and we used that through the grace of our contractor who moved it for us with his skid steer mover, hydraulic equipment, put these large pieces of stone, which were just sitting unused on the tree lawns in the next street. And so those are very old stones, and we brought them here to use as a northern exit from our deck. These are the glass block windows we put in this foundation. This foundation is a commercial foundation, has steel re-rod at 90 degrees angles every 18 inches, a network of laced steel re-rod supporting a poured foundation with 3 courses of block on top of that to create a 10-foot basement. So we have a full 10-foot basement, and this is the commercial entrance. Once again, no rails yet. We have the concrete steps, no rails. We have no steps up to the front of the building, but that's coming. So let's go down in here. I think there's enough light to show the way. Duck down, and we're now in a basement. And it's a mess, I know. But I thought with the daylight streaming in between the rainstorms, I could give you a quick look. We'll have a nice historic window there. We'll have a full entranceway system here, doorway, coming in with transom and side lights. That's coming. Let as much light as we can. We put some glass block windows to get some light down here. But this is a full depth commercial basement. You can see we have the heating systems are installed. We have 2 heating systems, one for the very top floor and one for the main floor in the basement. And this is wood we've saved and pieces we've saved along the way, which we will reuse again as much as possible instead of just throwing it away. This is this very snaky device is the arm rail for the spiral staircase. That will go at the back there where that ladder reaches up. That will be our entrance from the main floor to the basement. The front part will be rented out. This is a wall down the middle of the basement supporting the original hand-hewn beam, which is right there. This wall bisects the basement and supports that beam, and also allows us to put the heating system and electric services into it. Let's go back here. Let's hope there's enough light. I think there is. This will be a new bathroom, ADA bathroom, American Disabilities Act bathroom, big enough for a wheelchair. And it's all storage down here in a mess, but there'll be another room here which will serve the tenant from the front. And at the back, this is the back of the original building. I think you can see the hand-hewn beams right there. That's the dining room upstairs from the previous video, if you saw that. This is the back of the building, but we constructed underneath our deck rooms. So we have a 12 by 24 concrete deck at the back, which serves as a wheelchair entrance and also a platform for performances and presentations. And we'll be using this for our own space, the Kent Wells Sherman House Incorporated nonprofit space. And we have the parts from the spiral staircase. We have to wait till a little bit later to install that, but it is here and it's ready to go once we get past some of the drywall work and finishing work of the stairwell entrance. Let's go back out here and you can see our new furnace, which was installed pretty recently, and all the ducting work. There's our electric service entrance. Here's our water heater. We're not using a tank. We're using an in-the-line hot water heater. They consume a fraction of the electricity of an electric water heater, take up zero space, and they provide continuous hot water. It's a fantastic way to heat your water these days, rather than having a large tank full of hot water sitting there wasting energy. Once again, trying to give you a look at the basement. I hope I'm not hurrying too much. Once again, we stuck in some glass box windows just to try and give a hint of light down here. It's very important, and it's worked. Even the small ones provide a measure of much needed light in a very large space like this. And of course, we'll have lighting later on when we get that all installed. So here we go back out the front entrance of the basement. Nice wide commercial steps. Drain at the bottom. We have a full sump pump system, and we also had to manage a lot of stormwater for the city of Kent and ourselves. We have a lot of problem with the runoff here and erosion. So we installed quickly some sod to contain that and to satisfy the city's concern over the runoff, which was definitely a problem, and erosion. Water was just coursing down this rather continuous hill here and washing the soil out into the sidewalk. So we had to install an 8-inch storm drain all the way to the corner. You can see where the new concrete is, all the way to our lot edge, which catches our drains and our neighbors' drains. We had to manage that water. If we hadn't done that, we would have a serious problem. Once again, we'll have split stone veneer eventually on the front of this building, so it creates the effect of an old-timey sandstone foundation. Let's walk up here again. These are our air conditioning units. We have 2 systems. Those are our 2 gas meters. All new stuff, all good stuff. And here is the concrete deck, which is at the back of the building. And I think you saw Alan Orashan, working on the back. It's just his design. He's made progress on it. So it's beginning to take shape. The new entrance portal at the rear will have an appropriate look for the 1850s. There's also an old doorway left from a previous addition of some sort. We're not sure, but we're going to leave that and put a French balcony underneath it and put a new door that's closed off with a couple of lights in it, a couple of windows, to provide light in the attorney's office at that northeast corner of the upstairs. And we have this nice 12-foot wide by 24-foot, 12-foot deep by 24-foot wide concrete platform. And here is our steep lot, which was completely reshaped by our concrete contractor and his earth-moving equipment. Once again, there's a drain we had to put in at our expense to catch the neighbor's water. The building's been sold, so it's a different neighbor now, much better. We have yard drains necessary to control, one on each side, to control the water runoff. Another one over here. And the result of this, there's also a French drain connecting these 2 yard drains under here to just generally catch groundwater. It's worked very well because we have had no water coming through the foundation. We've had some come in through the front steps that you saw to the basement, but that was before we had our neighbor's drains capture his water and our drains, gutters operating, and we haven't had any trouble with that since. So even with our sump pump is not working yet, we have no water infiltration problem in the basement. And once we get the sump pumps working for the perimeter drains, footer drains, I think we'll just have something where we'll never have any trouble with water. And let's take another look at the upstairs. Greek Revival design at the rear as well as the front. All the corners of this building, of the pediment, were in really bad condition, and they've all been reconstructed. at great time and expense. And this is the wheelchair ramp, the ADA ramp coming up the side, so that folks in a wheelchair that have to have a conference with an attorney upstairs or want to come to a function here, they can easily come up here and participate. And let's take another look at the iconic Williams Brothers Flour Mill building, now the Star of the West, leaving Kent soon. And we'll leave behind some very empty and large structures that we're going to have to talk about what will be done with them. Hopefully something to help the public enjoy this part of Kent, which we would like to see preserved as an historic arts district, with its many historic buildings already here and its nice mixture of different types of people and architecture. We would like to see that preserved and enhanced as much as possible. Once again, we got a nice day, a break between the rain showers, a flock of birds. What more could you want? There they go. I hope they're not pigeons. Anyway, this is Kent, Ohio on October 16th, 2014. And this is our project. This is the very bad condition of the building next door. This part is going to be torn off and completely redone, completely rebuilt, extended. And the interior of the building next door is going to be gutted totally down to the foundation and reconstructed. So we're going to look forward to having a very nice building next door with some great owners that are going to look after the property. This property has not been looked after for about 50 years, and you can see what's happened to it. It's amazing that someone is going to actually put the money into it. They've made the investment of purchasing, so they're committed, that's for sure. And we wish them the best. This is more stone we've preserved. We'll do something with this stuff later. And thanks a lot for looking at this video. I hope I haven't bored you or talked too long. My name is Roger Thurman, and I'm with the Kent Wells Sherman House nonprofit. And please go to our website at kwsh.org, kwsh.org, and please make a contribution if you can help us out. Thank you.